It's the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Kwadash. Double honor to our apostles, our elder bishops, a great millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this true doctrine across the four winds of the earth in all truth and necessity. I'm Lamar Ariyah from the Mississippi Camp, Lord willing, this will be a fine lesson. And it's just another lesson exposing some of the wickedness of Esau Edom, showing that he is truly the devil and he will stop at nothing to accomplish his agenda. He's always been the wicked. He's been estranged from the womb, and he's not to be trusted, And I'm going to get a couple of scriptures here, and I'm going to play a video at the end. But this devil has been able to do all his wickedness, his corruption, sweep it under the rug, and move forward with his agenda because he has the power and the rulership of this society, man. He has been blessed to rule in this synthetic kingdom of his. Therefore, he controls the narratives. He controls the media, controls the news stations, the newspapers, any source of information. For the most part, this devil has the ability to manipulate and change the narrative because he controls or owns all the different networks. Okay. So again, back in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hands of the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. And who's the wicked? Esau, Edom, okay, the nation of Esau, the Edomites. Because, you had the sons of God, which are the Israelites, okay, the sons of man, which are the other nations. And then you have the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites, okay, that serpent. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, because when this devil come back into rulership during the Renaissance, he started, his iconoclasm, his whitewashing, knocking noses off particular statues, pale facing particular, imageries of prophets, painting angels with little wings and diapers, changing the true identity or imagery of the Messiah, the prophets. He's just, went through and started, painting his own image of himself as the true biblical Israelites or the Lord's chosen people. Okay. And he has been able to do that because the Lord allowed him to come back in power, man, during the Renaissance. All right. If not, where and who is he? So if you just look at the history, if you look at, just the basis of who controls the Fortune 500 countries, who are in control or behind the banks, who are primarily in the senates or just any position of authority or power when it comes to America, who face is on the dollar bill, who faces on the Federal Reserve notes. That's a clear confirmation of who rules, man. Because when a person or people rule, their money is a symbol of rulership because it has their stamp or face on it. Okay. But, this is how this devil is able to control everything because the Lord has allowed him to have this moment in time to be ruling. Okay. So let me put this on do not disturb. But yeah, he's ruling a synthetic rulership where we see spiraling down. But, nevertheless, this devil is still in control right now because the Lord is allowing him to be in control because he's going to use him as the hammer of the earth. But not to get off the topic, but This devil goes as far as he can go or need to go to control narratives and accomplish what he want, whether if he had to take it by blood. And he's a bloodthirsty, cancerous devil, man. And he doesn't even have love or respect for his own people, because as the video gonna show, he'll knock off his own to get what he want. And if you don't agree with him, then you're opposition, and he's gonna seek to delete you. All right. Get another scripture here, just furthering that prove that this devil is the Edomite and he's in rulership right now. Okay, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, and we're gonna just get to the point, basically read 37 and 38, because this is the account when, Rebecca, overheard and knew Isaac had told Esau to, fetch him some venison. So Esau went out to hunt, and Rebecca heard it and knew that Isaac was going to give Esau this blessing. So, they supplanted Isaac by, putting Jacob on some of Esau's clothing, the goat's fur, so he'll have that feel of, hair and a smell. And they fixed him venison, man. Or fixed him some food. And the Lord gave the blessing to Isaac. But when Esau come back from the field of hunting and found out that the blessing had already been given to Isaac, this is where he went to. Okay, in Genesis chapter 27, verse 38, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, and by the sword shall thy live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou hast have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke off of thy neck. Okay, so right now, Esau Edom, since the Renaissance, is still in power, man. Okay, he's still in power. But when you read the scripture, it goes into how the eldest, the youngest held the heel of the eldest. So meaning that eventually Isaac was going to be in rulership, and this devil Esau, the oldest brother, was going to come down. He was going to fall. But at the end of the day, if you receive it through the Spirit, man, Isaac was already. I mean, not Isaac, but Jacob was going to receive the blessing anyway, man. Okay? By way of Abraham, because Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac. But the Lord stopped it because he was checking it, testing his faith. Right? And then from Isaac, he had Jacob and Esau, but ultimately that blessing was meant for Jacob, man. That birthright. But still kind of veering off of the point of this lesson, man. But the whole point is that the earth was given to the hands of the wicked, and the Lord allowed this devil to rule the earth in wickedness under a synthetic rulership, where his power ultimately comes from the sword. And he utilizes that sword to accomplish his agendas, man. And it's all being outed, okay? It's all being put in the forefront. He's being exposed. His thighs being shown. His dress is being lifted, okay? His skirt. And as the scripture goes into, there's nothing covered that will not be revealed. And this devil is being revealed, man, for all his wickedness, his monstrosities, his deceitful, devilish, evil acts, man. So I'm going to play this video, and Lord willing is edifying to the elect and the true believers, and a more exposure of this devil is going to continue to come out, man, because we're in a time of exposing this devil. We're in a time of prophecy, and we're in a time of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua visiting the earth. All right. So Hey, Lord willing is edifying. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles, our elder bishops, a great millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Abraham Lincoln printed millions in government-issued notes, bypassing European banks to fund the Civil War. 5 days after the war ended, he went to Ford's Theater. President McKinley supported the gold standard, while others favored a central bank with a flexible currency. It wasn't long before an anarchist was led into his rally. 3 business titans allegedly opposed the creation of an American central bank. They all took an unsinkable ship owned by J.P. Morgan. He was supposed to go with them, but canceled last minute. That ship was called the Titanic, and the Federal Reserve was founded the next year. Senator Huey Long rallied against the Fed and tried to cap America's wealth. He was shot inside Louisiana's capital. His gunman was killed instantly, with no autopsy, lost evidence, and conflicting ballistics. Congressman Louis McFadden accused the Federal Reserve of high treason for causing the Great Depression. He collapsed after a banquet. The official story? Heart attack. JFK signed an executive order giving the Treasury power to issue silver certificates and bypass Fed-issued notes. You know how this ends. Congressman Larry McDonald, a fierce critic of all global banking elites, boarded Korean Airlines Flight 007. The plane accidentally veered into Soviet airspace. All 269 souls died, and Moscow held the black boxes for a decade before releasing edited data. Thomas Sankara, president of Burkina Faso, rejected IMF and World Bank loans. Shortly after, he was assassinated in a coup. His successor immediately took the loans. By the year 2001, very few countries didn't have Western-controlled central banks. Afghanistan and Iraq were 2 of them. All they needed was an excuse. The ruler of Libya, Gaddafi, proposed a gold-backed African dinar to replace the dollar for oil. NATO intervened in Libya's civil war, and Gaddafi was killed. Libya got a new central bank.